everyone, it's Justin, and welcome back to another week of the Book Buzzers. This week we're talking about 5 books that we think everybody should have on their bookshelves. Mine are a little bit of a mix. There's one book that can be considered adult, but it's one that can be read by young adults and alike, so I wanted to make sure to include it. But yeah, this week was really easy for me to decide on. I instantly knew 3 books I was going to have, and then the other 2 came to me really quickly, so that all worked out really well. But let me show you what I picked out. The first one is Harry Potter. This goes without saying, all-time favorite series, all-time favorite author. If you haven't read this series, I highly suggest picking up every one of the books and reading it as soon as you can. The second one is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. This was one of the first books I reviewed when I started blogging back in this summer of last year, and it was really, really good. Probably one of my favorite books of 2011 without a doubt. The next one is Revamped by Ada Adams, and if you've seen my review on my blog, you know that this is one of my favorite books of the year. If you haven't had the opportunity to read this, I highly suggest doing so, especially since the next book in the series is right around the corner, so you have that to look forward to. I would highly suggest picking this one up if you haven't yet. And the next one is The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. I haven't read this book in a long time. I can't remember exactly when I read it, and it wasn't actually this copy. This is the Barnes & Noble special copy, just a really fancy one, but I haven't read it in a long time, and I need to sit down and read it again, but it's pretty intimidating. This is one that's got all the books in one edition. But yeah, if you haven't read that one, I highly suggest doing so. And this last one's the one that can be considered more an adult book, but I think it's one that can be easily read by teens or young adults. I actually started reading this back in middle school, and I finished all the books, including the prequel to the series, within my I want to say 8th grade year, but it's The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I know a lot of people have read this series. It's a fantasy series. It's got movies, it's got games and everything based on it. It's just a huge series in the book world. It's one that can rival Harry Potter and like all kinds of other huge successful series. But if you haven't had the chance to read this, I highly recommend it. You can start with The Hobbit, which is the prequel, but this is the start to the actual main series. But if you do read The Hobbit, you get kind of a little background to some of the stuff that happens within the actual main 3-book series. But yeah, that's the 5 books that I would recommend everybody to have on their bookshelf if they don't. I would love to hear some of the books you'd recommend. You can leave your suggestions in the comments, and I'd love to read them, and maybe I can find some that I need to add to mine. But yeah, that's it for me this week, and I look forward to next week's video. Bye.